Have you ever lost an entire weekend trying to figure out some bizarre server issue, only to find out it was because of one tiny little undocumented change? If that sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about the tool that puts an end to that madness: VMware ESXi Host Profiles. This is your answer to configuration chaos. So let's kick things off by meeting the villain of our story: configuration drift. What is it? Well, imagine you set up, say, 10 servers to be absolutely identical, perfect clones. But over time, you know how it is. Security patches get applied, performance gets tweaked, different admins make little adjustments here and there, and slowly they all start to change. They drift apart. It's like you're trying to manage a fleet of cars that all look the same, but under the hood, every single engine has been secretly tuned just a little bit differently. It's a complete mess.
And this drift, it's not just a minor annoyance, right? It's a ticking time bomb for your operations. Each server turns into its own unique little snowflake, which makes managing them consistently basically impossible. These tiny little differences are what cause those mysterious crashes, those hidden security gaps you don't know about, and those 5-hour troubleshooting calls for what really should have been a 5-minute fix. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so.
So, if the problem is that every server has gone rogue and become a unique snowflake, what's the solution? Simple. You need a master blueprint. You need something that forces them all to be identical from the get-go. We need a golden image, but not for the operating system, for the entire host configuration itself. This is how you finally take back control.
And that blueprint? That's a VMware ESXi host profile. Simply put, it's a template that grabs everything. We're talking networking, storage, security policies, the whole shebang from one single perfectly configured master host. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the ultimate copy and paste for your server setups. It guarantees absolute consistency every single time.
And this right here really just nails the whole concept. That golden image analogy, it's perfect because it just clicks. You spend the time to build one perfect, hardened, optimized reference host, and then you can just stamp out that exact configuration over and over again flawlessly across dozens or even hundreds of other hosts. Okay, and this is where things get really, really good, because using host profiles isn't just about making your life a little easier. Nope. It's about fundamentally changing how you manage your infrastructure. It's about grabbing the reins and taking back control. And the payoff is huge, standing on what I like to call 4 key pillars. I mean, look at this. The contrast couldn't be more dramatic. On the left, you've got the old manual way. It's slow, it's just begging for human error, and trying to scale it is a total nightmare. But on the right, with host profiles, that's a picture of perfect order. It's fast, it's accurate, and it's built from the ground up for massive scale. It's all about standardization. And just look at how all these benefits stack on top of each other. Let's say you need to roll out 50 new servers for a big project. Doing that manually, that could easily be a week of tedious, error-prone clicking. With host profiles, you could have them all configured, compliant, and ready for action in just a few hours. That huge win in automation and efficiency directly locks in your security and compliance policies from day one. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but it's got to be incredibly complicated to actually set up, right? Well, the good news is the workflow is actually surprisingly logical and pretty straightforward. So let's just take a quick peek at how it all works in practice. See? It's a really clean 5-step process. First, you create your perfect reference host. Get it just right. Second, you extract its configuration, its soul really, into a profile. Third, you attach that profile to your other hosts or even whole clusters. Fourth, you apply the settings, which fixes or remediates any drift. And finally, step 5, you just monitor for compliance, making sure they never drift apart again. Create, extract, attach, apply, monitor. That's the rhythm.
Okay, but wait a second. I can hear you asking, what about the things that have to be unique on each server, like an IP address or a host name? Great question. Host profiles have a really clever way of handling this. It's called answer files. The easiest way to think of an answer file is like a little fill-in-the-blanks worksheet for each server. The host profile is the master template, and the answer file just provides those few unique details needed for that specific machine.
All right, so before you get all excited and rush off to implement this, let's just cover a few pro tips. Think of this as the Read Me First section. Just a couple of key things to keep in mind that will make sure you have a super successful rollout from day one. First thing, this is going to work best if you have identical hardware.
It just makes life easier and is a great practice anyway. Second, and this is a really important security feature, host profiles will never export passwords in plain text. So you'll be prompted to securely re-enter any sensitive credentials during the process. That's not a bug, it's a feature, and it's exactly what you want. And folks, this is the big one. This is probably the single most important thing to know before you start. Host profiles are a feature of VMware vSphere Enterprise Plus. It's a premium tool and for good reason. So before you start planning anything, please do yourself a huge favor and just double check that you have the right license. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. Is that configuration chaos silently costing you time, your sanity, and the stability of your entire environment? Are you going to let it keep stealing your weekends? Or are you ready to take control with VMware ESXi host profiles? Because the power to standardize, well, that's in your hands.